Hey everyone, glad you're joining. For those of you who are catching on the replay, I'm very grateful that you're here. I don't take it for granted. So as always, I wait just a couple minutes for people to join, and then I'm just going to progress on. We're talking today about seeing through the illusion. So as you come on, let me know you can hear me. I'm going to watch. I am excited about what I'm talking today because it's a new measure going forward in me. It feels like I've shifted my energy into a new direction, and what that basically means is I'm myself. So there's two things going on. Like, let me make some small talk before we get started. Before I start these videos, there's always this sense of, like the unknown. So if you're ever feel that way and that's keeping you back, just do it. Risk it all. Go for it. Hey, Tender Ann. Also, I want to also know that when this is a process for me, so I don't feel any pressure to perform on these. This is just me for whoever resonates. So that takes away a lot of stuff from your life when you can just speak. It's almost like gratefulness increases love energy in you, which increases your love for people, which increases your intuition. So let's get started. Hey, Tender Ann, I want to tell you something while I'm waiting for people to get on. I want to encourage you. Lately, I've been doing my hair or taking showers and I'm seeing people's faces. And it's wonderful because the words that I want to share or encourage them with are so incredible. And, I saw someone yesterday and I just saw the brilliance around them. And Tender Ann, I want to say to you today that you truly emanate love. And even though people may not understand your creativity, but everything you put out is creatively quirky and leading people into a love energy. So the people that resonate with you, they're really resonating with you. So there's a lot of looky-loos that come and look. But I want you to know how valuable you are and how precious you are and how brilliant you are, because you actually are staying in the line of your energy resonance, and that's admirable. And I just want to encourage you to keep going. So let's get started. Hey, Kathleen. Hey, Pris. Yeah, there's more. Let me think about it as I go through this. Let's talk today about seeing through the illusion. And last week, first of all, I want to let you know that I'm so grateful for the people that are joining. And when you are grateful, when that essence of gratitude rises up in a person, it increases the energy flowing out of a love energy. And when that happens, intuition increases. Because I know people have a choice. They don't have to listen to me. And that's really okay. I'm trying to pull in people that I resonate with so that I can challenge you to be you. And then you take it and you run with it. I'm just part of the process. We're all part of each other's processes to learn and to encourage each other and to grow. We're never the end all be all. There are no superstars. There are no people waiting to expound on these things that we can't find for ourselves. So because I'm a communicator and I've really accepted the fact that I am a communicator and I was born to communicate, I know now that there's been this massive shift in energy in me. And I love it because it's taken the pressure off of anybody but me to be me. So I want to say that the gratefulness, that when I say thank you for listening, I'm not saying it glibly. I'm really meaning what I'm saying, because by your resonance of watching me, it is increasing the intuition that is in me. So this love energy is increasing, and I like it. So let's get started. First of all, I love this message. I love the way things are going. It's a combination of everything I love, which is studying quantum science, having been a science major, loving sacred geometry because I was also a math major, loving spirituality as an intuitive, just really loving all of that and seeing it all integrate within me to bring forth a message. You do know that things will integrate and flow within the essence of oneness from different parts of your experiences and will, I want to say, produce in you something that you can't even imagine. Because as I look now and there's all these aha moments go, that's why I learned that. That's why I learned that. That's why this is useful. This is what this person has taught me. So all those synchronicities over the years have brought me to this point of being able to be authentically me. And let me tell you, that is really what you want. There is such a peace in that. So, hey, Andrei, nice to see you. Okay, so here it is. Einstein says, the intuitive mind is a sacred gift and the rational mind is a faithful servant. I don't look for these quotes. These quotes are from me studying quantum that I know that are ingrained in me. So what Einstein was saying was that we don't serve our rational mind. There is great teachings out there on brain and heart coherence. You look at them yourself. When your brain and your heart is in coherence, you set the intention with your mind. Your rational mind is a servant to see and to observe. But unless you engage with that rational mind, with an elevated emotions, you will not see what the blueprints are in the quantum field. Because the quantum field is not only entered into the reality of its potential by the mind, but by the elevated emotions of the heart, because it is a love energy. It is the all. It is God. It is source. It is the total vibration, and it has the blueprints and the encoding of the potential of your life. It's not a mystery. It's like reality for us. Everyone accesses this, and everyone is intuitive. So they serve each other. The brain and the heart come into coherence, which produces a peace. Jesus walked in that coherence. Many spiritual people walk in that coherence. There is no pressure to perform. It is, so now I've often said, I ask my heart how it is interpreting what I see. And I ask my heart very clearly what it is I'm seeing. So when I'm intuitive, we'll talk about this a little, but I'm very careful about expounding upon that which may be experiential in all of you. So I can give you tips, but I can't tell you how to get there, because this is the flow of your being. So you back away when you're intuitive and you rely on the emotions and the intuition of what is outside of the realm of my five senses. What am I seeing when I'm looking at something? How do I see past the facade, past the illusion, past the narrative of fear that is encompassing and flowing within the earth, past the groupthink of being drawn into the algorithm, what everybody else thinks, and just puppeting and parroting everything everybody thinks, but not really knowing by trusting my gut what I'm seeing. So the intuitive mind is this sacred gift. We back away from conscious thought. We back away from linear progression. Now, how do we do that? I'm sorry, folks, you're going to have to get alone by yourself. You're going to have to meditate. You're going to have to be still. You're going to have to still your self to engage in that inner stillness within you to be able to see clearly outside of the noise. There is no way you're going to get to this by constantly scrolling and constantly going left and right. You're going to get away from the literal interpretation of books that you've read, scripture or whatever that is. Start looking at it through analogy, through spirituality, through synchronicity. You're going to have to expand your mind beyond the templates of what is out there right now. You're going to have to expand your mind and read things that will challenge you, that will make you see, gee, I don't even understand this. And you have to read this a couple times. Do not be familiar. You're going to have to stop buying into the algorithms that social media is always foisting upon us. And so you're going to have to take time from that too. I don't totally disengage, but I see things now more clearly than I've ever seen them. So when you back away from conscious thought, you're leveling up to a higher realm of consciousness, which is in the field. You actually become nothing and nobody, but it is at that point where you open yourself up, because you've been in the field before the foundations of the earth. Ephesians shows us that. You've been there, you've been formed and encoded in that place, and you've incarnated and have forgotten that. But to move efficiently and intuitively within the earth realm, you're going to have to know who you are. And the only way you can find out who you are is a journey into your intuitive self, where you actually read your blueprints and you are able to see the patterns that are already available for you within the quantum field. This is not hard. This is the essence of our spirituality. This is what we've not been taught, or we've dabbled in a little, but now it's going to expand in beautiful and glorious ways. So when we go into this field, there have been patterns there that have been prepared for you life. I'm going to talk about Jeremiah in a minute. Do you think when God asked Jeremiah, what do you see, that Jeremiah should have been surprised? Where do you think that question came from? There was divine entanglement throughout all of eternity, throughout all of the field. The question, what do you see, was always in Jeremiah. It didn't come from a duality from outside. What do you see was already embedded in him, bringing him into that proper place in time so that he would rise up and see what can't be seen and hear the essence of what he was called to be in his incarnation. I don't disregard the prophets. I do not disregard or denounce scripture or my Christianity. I'm just bringing it up to a whole new level. So, is everyone intuitive? Yes, exactly. You don't have to look to anybody to be intuitive. We're all together moving forward in this, helping each other on this journey. But everyone is intuitive. It is all inside of you. It is your higher self that is speaking to you inside of you that you hear. So you have to learn to trust that voice. We don't. So many people are looking here and there and everywhere to find a voice that they can follow when we're really supposed to be leading by the gut instinct, by the intuitive nature within ourselves to hear truth. And that is my call. My call is a disruptor of the creative reality. I have sunk into like a muck for the past 4 years. And now that I know that as a disruptor of the creative reality, I am to challenge, I am to encourage you, I am to know that I'll be resisted, but I am to speak truth, code it with grace, knowing that I have not arrived because there's no there, that I'm in process and people will resonate with who I am. So is everyone intuitive? Yes. How can you not be? You're entangled in the field. And I want to go deeper into the depths of quantum reality, into the holographic nature, because when I study science, I extrapolate or pull out of it beautiful insights of spirituality I know that's why I was created in this time. So are you intuitive? Of course. There's no other way. You are entangled in the all. You have a divine knowing within you. You live, move, and have your being in God. You are in a lower, denser energy, but your hope and desire is to rise up and increase in a lighter density. Therefore, you are light. We need to stop making this so spiritual, and we need to know that practically this works its way through every day of our lives through synchronicities that invite us to move on. So are these questions, like we're going to take that question from Jeremiah, is this intuition that I feel, is it based on patterns already within me? Well, yeah, because Carl Jung says synchronicities are an ever-present reality for those with eyes to see. So nothing comes from outside of me. Everything is coming from within me. I'm responding to everything within me. So the synchronicities, those invitations that are waiting to invite me into higher realms of consciousness, I'm looking here, there, and everywhere where I should just be quiet and listen. If at all you can listen to Joe Dispenza talk on this, on Gaia, it will change your life. It will change your life. And I'm not him, and I don't teach that, but I can point you to resources that will change your life. So synchronicities come from patterns that have already been identified within you through past experiences of synchronicities. So when you open yourself up to that realm, it will lead you in a shining light of wisdom. It takes you beyond the I'm not worthies. It takes you out of those subconscious realities of failure. It's like you go out of the linear mind, you pass through the consciousness into your heart, you connect with the quantum field, and it is there that you're in your higher self, beyond the failure, beyond the accusations, beyond everybody trying to tell you who you are. And there is a bravery and a courage then that when you enter back in after a time of meditation, that when you're accosted by your senses again in a world that is dominated by fear, through this you constantly rise up to be who you're called to be. So when you rise into a higher consciousness, a higher self, out of the hologram that you're projecting your energy into, we'll talk about that in the coming days, you begin to see and know potential and possibilities. And as I said, there's so many good teachers. So that kind of lays the groundwork. Let me give you some practical things right now. You need to use, there's a new terminology here, a new language being birthed. So I have this tendency to want to explain everything because I want you to understand it, and I realize I can't. I'm just forging ahead in this in this new language that I'm going to bravely expand in the days ahead, as are others. So I was led by a synchronicity in me. I love the prophets. I've always loved the prophets for years, reading Isaiah and Jeremiah and Hosea. But, and Ezekiel was always a mystery to me. Well, see, when I deconstructed, if I want to use that word, out of all that, and I came into a newness, I didn't leave that. Maybe you think you have to leave that and denounce everything, but I wanted to evolve into the higher realm of conscious awareness that I am at. So I was led or shown to start reading that verse in Jeremiah. And I read it and I said, oh my gosh, he saw through a created reality. He was asked a question. That question had been in him all that time. And he answered according to what he saw. But Source or God, his higher self within him, was going to say, yeah, you see that. But let me show you what's beyond that. Let me show you what's outside of the realm of the five senses. Let me show you what's really going on. And when you see what's outside of the realm of the five senses, you're going to be moving intuitively against the prevailing attitude of fear. And if you know anything about the era and the age that Jeremiah lived in, there was war all over, yet he was told to do these things, no matter how you see him, even if you see him allegorically, he was told to expand into a bravery and a courage that could only be expanded upon within intuition and looking past what he saw. So Jeremiah 1:11 says, the word of the Lord came to me saying, Jeremiah, what do you see? And then he said, I see a branch of an almond tree. Then the Lord said to me, you have seen well, for I'm ready to perform my word. Well, I started looking at that and going, what's really going on here? And I started seeing that Jeremiah was entangled in the field, and he had been brought to that purpose in time with a curiosity and an innocence and a youthfulness about him that was open to hear revelation that was outside of the realm of his senses. So it took courage to answer that question. Are you being asked questions right now where you're too fearful to answer because you know it's going to take you into another place that you're scared to go? Do you have the bravery and courage to answer the questions that are being asked to you, to do things outside of the realm, because it will present to you having to challenge your fears, having to challenge everyone else's opinions about you, having to let go of the current narrative, having to walk in the world but not of the world, which will cause criticism, and having to face that you believe in who you are. I believe in the I am. So Jeremiah had boldness and courage to even begin to answer that question. So was he prepared for this intuition? Absolutely. It didn't come from outside of him. Absolutely, because it says he was formed. I knew you before I formed you. So those questions that are waiting for you to increase your intuition, they're not going to come to make you look like a fool. They're going to come to challenge you to be you. And you don't want any other questions. You don't want my questions, because my questions are predicated upon my experience. Every experience that I've gone through, suffering, joy, sorrow, gladness, hope, bravery, has brought me to this point of this yes within my being to learn more. And so when Jeremiah was asked this, he was known before he was formed. He was prepared to come into his incarnation to hear that. So when he was asked, what do you see? He was asked, Jeremiah, look past the created reality. Disrupt it, move it, shake it, and see and observe what can't be seen right there. So Jeremiah answered quickly and said, I see an almond tree. I see an almond tree. And yet God within was going to say, but it's more than that. That's what you see with the five senses. But let me tell you symbolically and allegorically that it's more than just that tree. So when he said, I see an almond tree, many of you know this. That meant an awakening from the sleep of winter. Within that question that Jeremiah was asked, there was an effect, an emanation to bring him up into higher intuition that, in essence, his true self, God within his, was saying, Jeremiah, you're looking at the tree, but I'm telling you, when you truly see the tree for what it means and what it is, You're going to be awakened to the sleep of winter that has been upon you. And you're going to awaken as a forerunner earlier than the other trees. So if you're listening to this today, are you a disruptor of the created reality? Is there something in you that you know you're a forerunner? Are you fearful or are you brave? I've been all that. Are you ready to step out in the process without having arrived at a certain place? Are you ready to move? So when Jeremiah was asked that question, it was an awakening, a new perception of him to see the olive tree, but within him, his higher self said, there's more than that tree. So when you look at the world today, what do you see? How are you filtering what you know through this created reality? And, don't get me started, because I've been on this bent now for weeks now studying transhumanism and the downplaying of our humanity and the taking away of our empathy and all this AI coming on the scene, which is already here. You're not going to avoid it, but you can rise in consciousness. We need to be intuitive and to rise up. So when I look at the world, what do I see? Do I buy the narrative that I'm being told? Or do I go past the narrative and look what's really happening? Do I see a people rising up? At what point do these people rising in the energy of love said, that's enough. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of everything. I'm going to rise up and be courageous. And you know what? I hate to use the word it's going to cost you, but I was just talking today and saying we've kind of had it easy. So what happens if you just can't go any further? What if you're listening to this and you're nowhere near what I'm saying we should be, and you want to break out of it, but you're counting the cost and says, it'll cost me this, it'll cost me this? I would tell you to be brave and pursue it. And so Jeremiah saw the almond tree and he saw it, but God was awakening within him his ability to see more than what he was seeing. And Jeremiah was a disruptor of created realities. Isaiah was a disruptor of created realities. Hosea was a disruptor of created realities. Are you a disruptor of a creative reality? If you are, use your voice to shake things up, but use it with grace and humility, never in pride, never in ego, never trying to make a name for yourself. Just sound in the resonance of the voice that has been put within you. So then God says, you've seen well. Okay, now let's keep going, Jeremiah. Let's keep learning. I'm ready to perform my word. Well, that word means perform, act with effect, with the reality of what is there. The question is just the beginning of the journey, folks. When he was asked this question, there was going to come a reality that hit him in the face and this is where so many of us are. Oh my God, we are so here. We are scrolling and writing and proclaiming and pontificating, which it's all good. I've been there. But now it's like the put up and shut up moment. Because we're being asked, you want me to perform that which I've revealed in you? Does your higher self is telling you, do you want to walk in what I'm revealing within you? So to see, and reality is to move in the direction of intuitively what you're being shown. I heard this message. I'm getting these very quickly in the midst of my studying all kinds of beautiful things, the Essenes, the Gnostic Gospels, Mary Magdalene. I'm studying Greg Braden a lot, Dispenza, all those things. I'm studying so much on Gaia. And as I'm studying it, suddenly this flows into me. And I had to do the action. It was like God was saying to me, what do you see, Deborah? Well, I see that, am I a disruptor of the created reality? And God in me says, yeah, it's great. Is this lodged in your mind? You want to elevate your emotions and to bring it forth? Why don't you do a Facebook Live on it? So see, I have to move into action that which I'm ready to perceive through my intuition. Intuition is not just constantly talking about things and showing how spiritual we are. Intuition has the purpose of being brave and courageous. And that is who I'm talking to today. So let me say a few more things. The disruptors of a created reality see illusion, see right through the illusion within a sensitivity and an intuition to know and understand that you can't see with just your five senses. You have to see outside the realm of your higher self, which is in the field. You are in the field and you are in the earth, in the world, but not of the world. And you're learning to walk at a different realm of reality. So as a disruptor, You infiltrate the atmosphere with truth that disrupts the status quo. You're not out to prove anything. You're just out to speak with a resonance that is innately you. You know, I just don't feel any pressure after I get done with these to figure out how to keep it going. How do I keep this audience? How many likes do I get? How many of you? I used to think like that several years ago. I don't anymore. So there's no impetus in me to try to create out of my spiritual ego what's coming next. What it is I infiltrate the atmosphere with truth. I know what I'm speaking is truth. It's truth for me. It's truth for other people. And you will also speak truth into my process. To be created is created reality. It's an individual responsibility. This is being created from fear and a dystopian duality. And people, because they do not understand spirituality, because they're locked into religion or control or whatever, fear, they're in a lower vibration, which we talked about last week. So this reality, we know this, quantum shows us, what you observe is going to create this reality around you. You're going to create fear, you're going to live in fear, and you're not even going to know it. Why are you not going to know it? Because you are being controlled by a narrative that is greater than anything we've ever known for such a time as this. So it's being created and with such ease and such slickness and such narcissism and such precision and such suave pulling in that we're entering into this as so ignorantly and we're not even knowing. Because like Braden says, we haven't even been shown what our true humanity is. Technology has advances beyond our morality. I believe that with my whole heart. And I've had these dreams lately about technology. And so this is my focus. It's like I'm going to believe that I can self-regulate, that I am not the product of my genes, that I am more than what I see, that I am able to live in this world but not of the world. And I'm actually going to put into reality what I've been speaking for all these years in what was considered my Christianity. It was all just words. And now it's going beyond that into a new realm. I want to challenge you. Are you a disruptor of a created reality? And that does not mean you have to be an extrovert, okay? You don't have to talk. People always say, Deborah, you talk so loud, and they think I'm coming on real strong, and I'm going, not really. I mean, I'm loving in my heart. I just have a loud voice. Thank you to my dad. So to be a disruptor of a created reality takes on many different forms. You don't have to speak it out all the time before many people. You don't have to be any certain way, any social strata, any powerful person that has money or power. You don't have to be an extrovert. You can be an introvert. You can be more silent. You can walk through a room and disrupt a creative reality. Do you know how you're called to disrupt a creative reality? Because mark my words, 2023 is going to be like so tumultuous. It's like schizophrenic in the spirit. You're going to turn your head one way, turn your head the other way, that if you're not grounded in your higher self, you're going to buy into all the fear that's going to come at us. So a couple more things. I only do what I see the Father doing. Seeing flows into doing, which implies movement and action. This is also moving within a creative reality beyond what we're seeing with the natural eye. Jesus was a disruptor of created realities. That's so obvious. And the reason I was told that like that, I'm a word person. I remember T.D. Jakes a long time ago said, if you don't read, you can't lead. That's true, folks. You don't read, you can't lead. If you don't engage in expanding your consciousness through various means of meditation and reading and expanding yourself to new ideas, then you're going to be caught in a web of a narrative that is trying to pull you down into controlling who you are. And you are not sent into the earth for that. A lot to say on that. So intuition, does it flow from nothing or nowhere? Or does intuition flow from our higher self in oneness, in perfect timing and readiness? Yes, it does. You are prepared to be intuitive. You may not be walking in it. You may not think you're intuitive, but you are. And doors will open that will invite you into this exploration. It will be your responsibility to walk through. You're self-aware in a higher realm of knowing where your open mind is flowing in curiosity. It's also not collecting data. Intuition is something, those spontaneous serendipity, synchronized moments that expose you to a higher realm of knowing that you may not have known, I want to say seconds before, but there's no time in the quantum realm. We'll talk about that some other time, how time bogs you down into fear. We'll go into more detail about that. So what happens is it's not collecting data. If anything, you're just being in that higher realm. Through meditation, you're releasing all your ability to think. And man, do you remember all those verses? The heart is deceptive above all things and meditation is wrong. That's BS. It's BS, and it did more harm to us than we can imagine. It did total harm to us. Meditation is incredibly wonderful. You enter into that nothingness where you just be. And when you come out of it, you open up. You come out with a braveness and a courage to know how you move in this earth and who you are. So it's an inner listening. It's a different operating system, folks. Do you know, I love technology. I'm not bad at it. I'm older. I'm in my 60s. But what I don't know, I ask. I ask young people. I love it. So I'm, getting ready to... get this. Okay, I didn't think about this. Okay, let me think for a second. My Mac is 6 years old. And you know what? A Mac, 6 years old, they last good. But you start knowing that it's getting a little slower, but it's still really good. But you kind of know it's time for a new Mac. And the reason I knew was because I couldn't download the new operating system because it was older or because I didn't have enough space. So I was ready to get a new Mac, but now it seems so allegorically symbolic that there's a new operating system that I'm going to go into when I go into this new Mac that I'm getting ready to purchase. And so you see, there's a whole new software system that you're going to have to walk in. And it can't download with a previous level of understanding. You can't live by the algorithms of that current system, but you can evolve into a new way of walking that takes what you learn. I think someone said to me that to birth something new, you have to leave the old. And at first I said, okay, but then I thought, no, because everything I learned, if there's this, I do this very humbly. If there's this prophetic, or however you want to look at the prophets, if there is this disruption that I'm inhibiting because I thought I have to be something else, why don't I just let that evolve into this new way that I'm going with a new operating system and how to discern what I was taught? You can't go back into those old things. Dr. K is always teaching about allegory. You cannot go back into the old ways of seeing things. You have to have a new software system, which means this. Some of you are scared because you don't understand it at first. You have to just keep listening, just keep watching, just keep growing. And it's a spiral method of learning that will take you around and around and around until one day you're going to get certain things. That's this type of learning. It's not linear. It's spiral. Light is a spiral, and it moves like this. So let me end with these three statements. I am, again, watching Quantum Revolution on Gaia by Nassim Haramein. I love this stuff. And because I love it, I can help you understand it and make it simple for you. So Nassim Haramein is a great physicist, a modern physicist, and he says, think of your body as an antenna that interacts with the fundamental field at every moment. If you don't know how to access the field, you got to get new software to access the field. You're not going to access the field through a literal Christianity. Ain't going to happen, folks. Ain't going to happen. It's not going to be uploaded through an old system of religion or cultural or government or political correctness. You're going to move into a new operating system in a higher realm of consciousness when you release the ability to see things that you saw and see into a created reality to lift you up higher in a different operating system. There's a different operating system. You know what it is? Oneness. We are entangled. We're not separate from God. Our new operating system that's being uploaded from us, that is looking how we see things, how we hear things, is no longer separation. It's oneness. It is moving forward, and it's for all of us, people. I've never been more excited in my whole life. This is such a glorious time to be alive. So think of your body as an antenna. What are you seeing? What are you sensing? What are you feeling? So Nassim also says, no one in the universe sees the world as you do. You are a unique expression of the universe. That is why we are entangled. I need Kristen as much as I need Kay, as much as I need Kathleen, as much as I need Tender Heart. We are all in this together. As much as I need Tanya, everyone that's listening today, you have not deconstructed into nothingness to be cast aside. Phyllis, and to you too. You and Tanya, you need to be reconstructed to move in the unity of oneness to all line into what we're supposed to be into. I need you. I need you. I need to learn from you as much as you need to learn from me. This is an exciting time. Last thing, Nassim also says, you are part of the flow of information. From the infinitely large to the infinitely small, it's passing through you. And when it passes through you, this flow of information collects, oh God, this is good. This flow of information collects your specific interpretation of reality and informs every point in the structure of space, influencing the totality of the structure. Your participation is important. I'll post these later. Do you know what he's saying? He's saying nobody can be you. Every experience that you've walked through has brought you into an intuitive flow that is for you right now, right here, right now. And all these patterns that your subconscious has said leaves you in, stop being a victim. Stop being a victim. Acknowledge your hurt, acknowledge your trauma, get healed, be brave, be courageous, and use everything that was meant to pull you down into forming a bravery and a courage that is going to light up your path. Like Dr. K, I ain't teaching, I'm preaching. And that's me. That's another reality I had to walk in. I'm more of an intuitive speaker than I am a teacher, but God, how we need the teachers. So let me end with this. So the deal is that don't deny anything you've been through, anything. It's formed patterns. The encoding is in the quantum field. This template is in the quantum field, in the energy that you're supposed to emanate with while you are here on this earth. And it doesn't look like mine, and I don't look like you. So you can't elevate my experiences above yours, and I can't elevate yours above mine. We are all going through things, but I do want to say, do not let all the things you've walked through bring you down into a lower vibrational of fear. I'll end with this. Everything you've gone through, we acknowledge that it hurts. I don't want to make fun of it. I don't want to deny it. It hurts what you've been through. There are perhaps traumas in your life. Yes, of course. There are things that trigger you, but you know what? We need to get past this. We are not victims bound by a low vibrational fear, nor are we victims constantly trying to justify why we're a victim. Constantly building a tabernacle to our own victimhood. We're in an unknown area. It's like Psalm says, you've brought me out into a wide open field. And I didn't stand there looking at everything I've learned. I didn't stand there looking at all my accomplishments. I didn't stand there trying to hustle from my spiritual ego, trying to create a new ministry. It says in Psalms that David says, when you brought me out into a wide open field, I stood there knowing I was loved. That's about it. I hope you liked this as much as I liked this. I'm very grateful that you're accepting me and listening to me in this. And I just hope you have an incredible day and an incredible weekend. Love you all.